Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
It is a new month at the Gals Guide podcast, and we are continuing our around-the-world travel adventures. This month, we are learning about the women of the Caribbean. So first up, she is head librarian of Gals Guide and president of Gals Guide as well. It's Bonnie Just Fillenworth, everybody! Yay! So Bonnie, introduce yourself to the new people.
The new people.
The new people. The idea that every
people.
Start of the month there's new people, right?
Yeah, sure. My name's Bonnie Fillenworth. I'm the president of Gals Guide, but I'm also a visual artist, and I do paintings of women from history.
Yes, you do. They're beautiful and colorful. I love them. Sweet. Returning to the show is our director of community outreach. It's Barb Conlon, everybody.
Yay! So glad to be back.
So introduce yourself to the new people.
Hello, new people.
Remind the people.
Yes. For those of you who've forgotten me, I'm Barb Conlon. I've been hanging out with these crazy ladies since about 2020 when the library launched, and various roles. Director of community outreach right now, but I am in and out on the podcast. So glad to be back, and
fantastic.
And what a fun month this is.
I know, right? Yeah. There's rum this month.
Right. And dreams of the Caribbean.
Exactly. Island dreams.
Exactly.
Oh, I adore it. So as for me, I am Riru. I'm the executive director of Gals Guide Library, and I can't believe we're actually halfway through. So we're halfway through our travel adventures, right?
That's just crazy.
Yeah. So how have you been liking our travels so far to the different places?
Wonderful.
Yay!
I love it. I think it's very eye-catching. The passport is still eye-catching. The literature that shows all the destinations when I do an outreach with the tent or whatever. People seem to really enjoy that.
Yay!
Yeah. So
Look at that.
Good. It's been good.
Oh, it's going to be too fun. We're, even though we're halfway through, we're going to announce relatively soon, probably by the time this podcast airs, maybe. Don't quote me on that, who our top 10 travelers are.
Oh,
because we've been adding together who has the most stamps in their passport.
Very cool.
Because those who have the most amount of stamps, depending on how many we can fit, we're going to be invited to a traveler's feast in December. So international food display, being able to show off our travels and all that kind of good stuff. So those points, not only do they get you a discount for Gals Guide stuff, but, you get invited to a really cool feast.
And it's not too late, right?
Yeah.
So
it's only halfway done.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you've got a slow start for the year,
you can totally catch up.
and join the feast in December. How fun.
And if you're listening to the podcast, I mean, you get a stamp for every podcast episode you listen to. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stamps just right there, just in listening.
Yes. And then you can join book club, which is also on Zoom.
Yep. And film club. Yep. Exactly. And our writers contingent has a hybrid option, so you can do online or in person there as well.
So there you go.
So lots of cool ways to get stamps. Exactly. So I thought it would be a fun way to start these month's episodes with like a proverb or a traditional saying. And so I found a Caribbean proverb for us,
I love it.
which is, I came here to drink milk, not count cows. Have you ever heard this one before? So it's kind of the idea of mind your own business, enjoy what you are entitled to, don't worry about details that don't concern you. So I came here to drink milk and not count cows.
I thought you were going to say that we were here to chew bubble gum.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's where I thought you were going.
Kick ass and chew bubble gum.
I feel like it's almost in that same spirit.
It does. It
Yeah.
does fit. It definitely fits.
So with that lovely proverb, Bonnie, are you ready to start us off with your Caribbean lady? Who do you got?
Yes, I have a wonderful lady that I can't believe we haven't covered. And I swear I was having it must have been like a dream. Like, I swear that Debbie had talked about her.
Right, yes.
Like,
a Shazam
I was talking
situation.
to her Discord, and I was like, I swear that Debbie covered her.
Right.
But, I couldn't find it in our spreadsheet.
Yep.
And I couldn't find it in our, podcast catalog.
Yep.
And I'm like, I swear, I was there. I remember it happening. So I guess she must have just talked about her like after recording or something.
Exactly. And it was, one of these days I want to come on and talk about this person. However,
sorry, Debbie.
You really beat her to the punch. But Debbie did buy the book for us. So the people are probably going, who the hell are you talking about? So who is your lady, Bon?
My lady. Oh, goodness. That was, woo!
It's rum.
I haven't even had the booze yet. My lady is the fabulous Shirley Anita St. Hill, who's also known as Shirley Chisholm. Yes! Her married name.
Good old Shirley Chisholm.
Amazing lady.
I do adore her. I'm glad she's being covered on the show. So, yes perfect.
Finally.
I was
We've all been waiting.
I was like, does she count? And I was like, but I gotta do her.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, I think it's great.
She's born November 30th in 1924 in Brooklyn. To immigrant parents. So she's not born in the Caribbean.
Right, but her parents.
Not yet.
Right?
We're getting there.
Okay, all right, got it. Yes.
She had 3 younger sisters, so she was the elder sister, which I've heard is like a thing, being the eldest sibling. It's like you're expected to take care of the other siblings and stuff. It's like a whole...
It's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an oldest sibling, so I'm totally ignoring that responsibility.
Her father, Charles, was British Guiana and had lived in Barbados.
Okay.
Where he had met Ruby, who was born in Barbados.
Yeah.
And they both immigrated to New York City in the early 1920s and reconnected and married.
Oh, nice.
Like about a year-ish
before
they had Shirley.
Yeah, sure.
They had their 4 kids, and in order to save some money and allow both parents to like work so they can get the double income, they decided to send the girls down to Barbados to live with grandma and an aunt from the time that Shirley was about 5 to 9.
Oh, nice. She was there in that age of reason is what they call it. That around 7 to 8 when the world really opens up, she was in Barbados. I love that.
And they thought that you'd get a better schooling down there because I guess it's like a British school system down there. And they're like, it's not playtime. It's not kindergarten, play with shapes. It's like get down to business time.
Nice.
Down there.
Yeah. Which is very much her personality later. Spoilers.
Yes. So she lived down there for a while, and so since she was down there from 5 to 9, and then before she lived there, and when she came back, she was living in a very immigrant area of New York with other people from the Caribbean and just other people of color.
I love it how they have those pockets in New York, just like they reconnected after being, immigrating from Barbados.
Like,
that's
what
very
are the
cool.
freaking odds?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Right.
It's meant to be.
Yeah. So because she lived down there, she always spoke with a Barbados accent.
Yeah.
And if you go back, there's all kinds of her speeches on YouTube, and you can hear both her accent, and then she also had a lisp.
Oh.
So I rewatched one of her speeches after. I was like, does she have a lisp too?
I've never noticed that, actually. But I'll bet you if I watch it with thinking of that in mind, I'll be like, oh, yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard her speak, and I was like, that's not a New York accent.
It's New York attitude.
But yeah, and then she always considered herself I'm trying to make sure I pronounce Barbadian-American.
Yeah.
But when she came back, she ended up being placed into 3rd grade instead of 6th grade because of her lack of American history and geography.
Oh. All right.
Gotta love that.
I mean, when did they start testing? I'm just kidding.
So that she, her teacher noticed that she was, getting bored. Yeah. And they eventually got her a tutor. And I assume that she got eventually placed back where she was supposed to be.
For her age, yeah.
She ended up attending an all-girls high school and got scholarships for both Vassar and Oberlin colleges.
Nice.
But with her family being kind of poor, she could not afford both the room and board.
Yeah.
Even though she had a full ride scholarship for like the tuition.
It's still expensive for that part, though.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
So she chose to attend Brooklyn College and lived at home.
Gotcha.
It was free for her tuition, and then she's living at home and able to help out there.
But she's getting an education.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig it.
She majored in sociology and minored in Spanish and graduated cum laude and won prizes for a debate team.
Oh, look at that. That political debate might come in handy.
She ended up going to night school at Columbia to earn her master's in education.
Sweet.
But despite all this, she had trouble finding work because she was Ruth Bader Ginsburg size.
Right.
I didn't know that she was also very tiny.
Little one.
It's like, oh. And she had the lisp.
Yeah.
So no one believed that she was a college graduate.
Oh my goodness.
So a teeny tiny black one with an accent and a lisp. You're like, no way you went to college.
Don't they produce like diplomas for proof?
Well, and she said that she, when she goes to apply, like many women now, women don't apply until they meet all the qualifications.
Right. That's
where men are like, meh.
I could read this.
Ish.
They were not hiring her because they were claiming she didn't meet the qualifications, even though she had.
Right. Interesting. I'm going to go with racism, sexism, a little bit, all of it, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ew.
She ended up working at and then directing several, nurseries.
Gotcha.
She was eventually in charge of, she was, the head person in front of, a chain of nurseries.
Oh, gotcha.
So she had a whole bunch of, schools and then the employees and kids that she was responsible for.
Cute.
She met a man after college, and they dated for 2 years before becoming engaged.
Aww.
And Shirley ended up ending the relationship after finding out that he was already married and had a family in Jamaica.
Oh my goodness. Fair.
So it's not just an American thing, is what you're saying.
Right. Second family.
Which made it really hard when she met Conrad Chisholm.
Yeah.
And they eventually married in 1949 when she was 25.
Gotcha. There you go.
They made it sound like she was like, no, I'm done with men after that.
Y'all suck. Wait. Oh, no, you're okay.
And then even when he got back in the picture, or when he got in the picture, you know, she just gave him a very hard time.
So there was second family then?
Right. Why are you going to Jamaica? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, the poor guy. You feel for him.
But reasons.
But yeah. Totally see it happening.
They married. She ended up having 2 miscarriages and they ended up not having any children.
Gotcha.
Which she was kind of whatever, I got stuff to do.
Right. Good.
Looking back on it later, she was like, that gave me more time to get shit done.
There you go. Yeah, very true.
She became a consultant for the New York City Bureau of Child Welfare.
Gotcha.
And she worked on a campaign to help elect the district's first African-American judge.
Cool.
Nice.
Is that kind of that foray into politics?
And she's just dipping her toe in. She's helping out the stuff.
It's a very weird thing, so I completely understand that.
And she ended up working on the campaign to elect Tom Jones, but not that Tom Jones.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone, Tom Jones? Okay, all right. I hope that's his son.
Who he lost the election, but then ran again 2 years later.
Okay.
And then after his 2-year term was up, he was going to campaign for some other office. Mm-hmm. So he didn't seek re-election for his current seat. Oh. And instead, Shirley ran for his seat.
Oh, nice.
And the New York State Assembly and won by a 70% margin.
Holy crap. Wow.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
They liked her.
And announced her victory by giving speeches in the streets while wearing a red cape in both English and Spanish.
Yes!
Okay.
Like you do.
Superhero. Bilingual superhero.
Yes. Sounds like she was just always in the... I think at one point she had a truck and a megaphone and was like just in the streets always.
I dig it.
Love it.
Great.
Love it.
I mean, it is pre-internet, so megaphone in the street will do it.
Just a social media pre-internet.
Exactly. It was just the Wild West of chaos.
Yeah.
Seemed to be working for her.
Her district got redistricted.
Okay, yeah.
Several times, so she had to like rerun for her seat several times. So she gave her practice for campaigning.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
She always said that she met resistance not because of her race, but because of her sex.
Oh, yeah.
At least with like in the political sphere.
Sure.
Like a lot of people, she's got some kind of quote about it, and people like misinterpret it as like just in her life as general.
Gotcha.
But it's, I mean, when she came back to the United States, she was definitely familiar with racism, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. When she was in Barbados, she was just kind of like on a farm, away from the city.
Yeah.
And grew up, so when she came back, she was like, whoa.
Right, exactly. She's like, what is this underlining thing that we're not talking about, but is very obviously present? Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was elected the VP of the New York chapter of NOW.
Oh, sweet.
Excellent.
She's a National Organization of Women. Mm-hmm. And in 1968, she was elected to New York State Congress.
Sweet.
At 44 years old, becoming the first African-American woman elected to Congress.
Woot.
Joining Patsy Mink.
Yeah.
The first woman of color elected to Congress.
Yeah. Oh, it was the same year?
I think Patsy was...
Maybe either close-ish.
I think like a few years before her, but she was still
Katie
there.
Covered her on the podcast. So, yeah, nice.
And like 10 other women, which is, I mean, there's like hundreds of people in Congress.
Yeah, right.
But her campaign slogan was Unbought and Unbossed.
Yes. Which is the name of her book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Unbought and Unbossed. I like it.
During her campaign, the man who was running against her, whose last name was Farmer.
Okay.
He didn't even live in Brooklyn.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
so much for that whole redistricting thing.
Yeah.
Rules don't apply to dudes.
Right.
The New York Times ran a headline that read, Farmer and Woman in Lively Bedford-Stuyvesant Race.
Oh, farmer and woman. Oh my god.
During the race, she ended up having a fibroid tumor removed from her pelvis.
Look at that.
But was still like out after her surgery,
campaigning,
walking around on the streets.
In her truck with her megaphone.
Nothing can slow her down. Screw these fibroid things, which we've also talked about on the podcast.
Her opponent said that government is a man's job.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so when she's serving in, she's elected to the U.S. Senate and is assigned to the Agricultural Committee.
Okay.
Within the Forest and Rural Development Committee.
Okay.
And she's sitting there. I guess there's rules for junior or for
new.
Yeah, freshmen in Congress.
Right.
You're supposed to just sit there and shut up. Don't.
So she may have struggled with that. Do you think
she didn't struggle? She kept raising her hand to speak.
Yes.
To be heard, and other people kept getting called on before her. So she walked down to the floor and requested that she be reassigned a committee, and she eventually was selected for the Veterans Affairs Committee, which she settled for because she said that there were more veterans in her district than forests.
Nice.
I like how she's called it out clean. Perfect.
She just walks down to the floor. They're like, "May we help you, man?"
Excuse me.
She's like, "Maybe you didn't see me. I'm this little black woman, and I would like to be heard, please." I like that.
She was opposed to the Vietnam War.
Gotcha.
Supported equal rights for people of color and women.
Yes.
Voted against anti-abortion laws.
Sweet.
And reintroduced the Equal Rights Amendment.
Oh, the ERA. I mean, thank her for her service. Even though it didn't work out, but it was not her fault.
She staffed her office with women
Sweet.
Intentionally to give them a leg up on stuff. And she made a run for president, visiting 11 states with only a budget of $300,000.
Gotcha.
While her opponents had millions of dollars.
Right, exactly.
There's a smear campaign that was later found out to be tied to Richard Nixon.
No.
Threatened by this teeny tiny black woman.
Oh, Richard Nixon.
What a dick.
There was a press release.
So many different ways, including name.
Oh, goodness. Press release claimed that she was a transvestite.
Oh.
Lovely dated term there.
Mm-hmm.
And also a schizophrenic who had spent time in a mental hospital.
Of course.
This is how threatened they were of this teeny tiny black woman.
Wow. Question her sanity as well as her gender. That's amazing.
And she received at least 3 death threats.
Oof.
But she ended up earning 151 delegate votes.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Look at that.
And she said that she ran because somebody had to do it first.
Yep.
In this country, everybody's supposed to be able to run for president, but that's never really been true. I ran because most people think that the country is not ready for a black candidate, not ready for a woman candidate.
Mm-hmm. But she did it, though.
She did it. And she served in Congress for 14 years.
Nice.
She ended up divorcing her husband and getting remarried.
Gotcha.
And after her tenure in Congress, she lectured and taught at colleges and worked on political campaigns.
Cool.
She died of a stroke at the age of 80 in 2005.
That is a long life.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yes.
And was later awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by
Nice.
Obama.
Oh, I like that. I like
Good
that.
idea.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And then I threw in some more quotes.
There you go. Barb loves quotes.
I do love the
Yeah.
quotes.
And also Shirley has some good ones, but
Oh, Shirley has so many. She's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Like there's so many parallels with her. I love it. She said, tremendous amounts of talent are lost in our society just because that talent wears a skirt.
oh,
Very nice.
truth.
And if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair.
Yes.
Love that.
That's my favorite one.
And then you go WWE style
Exactly.
and kick some ass.
She didn't say what you use that folding chair for.
No.
But bring it.
So
Very
if they,
much
if
like
they
a-
overlooked her, she could just step up on the chair
Mhm.
and say, "Excuse me,
Excuse me.
Right.
excuse me."
Just gonna bring my own chair to the debate. I'm gonna bring my own chair to the floor. I love it.
Exactly.
No, she's super duper awesome.
Exactly. And have either of you, there's a Netflix original movie. I have not watched it yet.
Oh, I haven't watched the movie.
Okay.
I watched the thing that came out in like 2020.
Oh, yeah, well, Miss America.
Miss America.
Yes, that one.
That's-
Yep, there you go. That had the
she's-
ERA
Yeah, she's
stuff.
featured in that a lot.
Yeah.
The actress that plays, she's in Orange
She's
is the
Orange
New
is
Black.
the New Black. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Crazy-Eyed Susan in Orange is the New Black.
And I can
Shirley Chisholm. and
see
it's
her
great.
face and not remember. I know the
Yeah.
Netflix movie that's out is Regina King plays her.
Nice.
And I love Regina King as well.
Nice.
So it is in my queue. It is waiting. I've been having
I might
some
have to
series.
watch that right
Yes.
after we watch that Gertrude Iredale movie. It sounded like it just came out.
Oh,
With
nice.
Daisy Riley.
Ray from Star Wars?
Yes. Like, I saw, like, a commercial for it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Gertrude.
Right.
Like, Trey saw it from across, he came in the room, he's like, is that Gertrude? I was like, I'm pretty sure, because she's covered in mud.
Right.
Like, so then I had to, like, I looked it up the other day, and it sounded like it's already out in theaters, but it might also already be out on Disney
Oh, are
at
they
the same time?
simultaneous release?
Maybe?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So that means I need to finish my painting on her.
Oh, yeah. There
I
you
did
go.
the little study, and I did my painting, and
Yeah.
then when I went to grab it after COVID, I was like, oh no, like her eyeballs are like askew.
Well, everything was askew during
There you go.
COVID, so you're forgiven.
Things
absolutely.
happened in art
right.
during COVID.
We did not We did not understand what was going on.
Oh, sweet. Yes. I do love a Shirley Chisholm.
Very nice.
Wonderful part of history.
Super amazing.
With her Caribbean roots. I adore it.
Love it.
Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join us next week as another Caribbean gal is picked to share as the Gals Guide podcast continues. Thanks for listening. Want to learn about more women of history? Gals Guide opened a unique women's history lending library. Come visit and explore our collection. Learn more at galsguide.org. Thanks for listening.